Hello, and welcome to Math Matters. I'm Ms. Granados, and today we are going to be learning about interpreting data from both a line plot and a stem and leaf plot. At the end of the lesson, you will know you have met today's learning intention if you are able to meet the following success criteria. I can identify the mode. I can identify the range. I can determine the amount of values in a data set. I can describe the information on a line plot and a stem and leaf plot. You will need some paper and something to write with, so go ahead and gather your supplies and come right back. What do you notice? What do you wonder about this set of data? You may have noticed that the least number is 95 and the greatest number is 108. You may have noticed that some numbers appear more than once. In this set of data, there is a group of numbers that occur most frequently, and that set of data is 106. In this set of data, 106 is the piece of data that occurs most frequently, so 106 is called the mode of this set of data. Range is the difference between the greatest value and the least value in a data set. In this set of data, the difference between the greatest value of data and the least value is 13, because 108 minus 95 is 13. So 13 is the range of this data set. We just introduced what mode and range are. So now let's go over why we need to know about mode and range. What do you notice? What do you wonder? You may have noticed that this line plot is marked from 0 to 10, but we only have data marked from 0 to 5. Do you notice how the x's are spread out from 0 to 5? Range is also known as the spread of this data set, or how far apart the least and the greatest values are from each other. What is the range of this line plot? Well, the difference of 5 and 0 is 5, so the range of this line plot is 5. You may have noticed that this line plot has the most number of x's here. There are 6 x's above the number 1 on the line plot. So we can say that the mode of this line plot is 1, because 1 is the value that occurs most frequently. Our title for this line plot is Number of Pets. This data was taken from a classroom of students. We know that the range is 5 and the mode is 1. But what does that mean? Well, the range of 5 means that the difference between the greatest number of pets and least number of pets is 5. The mode of 1 means that having 1 pet is the most popular occurrence in the class. What other information can you interpret from this data? If each X represents 1 student, then how many students are in this class? Well, we could add all of the X's, and the total would give us the total number of students in this class. In this case, the total is 19. So there are 19 students in this class. How many students have 0 pets? How many students have 2 pets? How many students have 5 pets? Yes, there are 4 students that have 0 pets, 5 students that have 2 pets, and only 1 student that has 5 pets. So what does this line plot tell us about the students in this class? Maybe you thought of the following statements. Most students in this class have either 0, 1, or 2 pets. Or maybe you thought, not many students in this class have more than 2 pets. Take a look at this line plot. Which title would make the most sense for this line plot? Your 3 choices are A, heights in inches of 5th grade students, B, number of people in your family, or C, number of cavities. I chose number of people in your family because I can think of people having 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, or 10 people in their family. 5th graders cannot be 4 inches tall, nor 10 inches, so heights in inches of 5th grade students does not seem reasonable. Having 10 cavities is a lot of cavities, so number of people in your family seems the most reasonable title for this line plot. What can you interpret from this line plot? What is the least number of people in a family? Yes, 4 is the least number of people in the family. I know this because it's the lowest data value on the number line. What's the greatest number of people in a family? That's correct. 10 is the greatest number of people in a family since it's the greatest data value on the number line. What size family occurs most often? Yes, 7 is the size of family that occurs most often in this data set. I know this because 7 has the most number of X's, which means that 7 is the mode. What does this line plot tell us? Well, one possible statement that could be made is that of the people who answered this question, everyone had at least 4 people in their family, and at most 10 people in their family. Now, let's interpret data from a stem and leaf plot. What is the least number of fat grams in the foods at 7-Eleven? What is the most? So we know 7 is the least because that is the first data point on the plot. We know that the data has to be organized from least to greatest. So the first data point is always the least. The most is 31 grams of fat because that is the last data point on the plot. How many food items are represented in the stem and leaf plot? There are 12 digits in the leaf section, which means that there are 12 food items represented in the stem and leaf plot. What grams of fat occur the most often? Did you say 7, 8, and 16? This stem and leaf plot has 3 modes because the 7, 8, and 16 occur the most. Data sets can have more than one mode or they can have no mode. What inference can I make from the stem and leaf plot? Well, I can infer that I have more than one option of food to choose from that has the same number of fat grams. According to an article from November 2014, the dietary intake of fat is about 44 grams to 77 grams of fat per day if you eat 2,000 calories a day. Based on that information, how will that impact your decision of purchasing the food item that is 31 grams of fat? So let's reflect. Today, we focused on interpreting data from both a line plot and a stem and leaf plot. We also learned how to determine the range by subtracting the least value from the greatest value and the mode of a data set, or the data value that occurs the most often. Determining the range and mode of a data set assists us in making inferences about data. We also spent time determining the amount of values in our data set by either counting the total of x's in a line plot or by looking at the amount of leaves in our stem and leaf plot. So, how did you do today working towards our learning intention? As I read each of the success criteria for today, use your thumb to reflect on where you are in your understanding. Give a thumbs up if you feel like you got it, a thumb in the middle if you're still practicing, or a thumb down if you need help from a teacher or someone at home. I can identify the mode. I can identify the range. I can determine the amount of values in a data set. I can describe the information on a line plot and a stem and leaf plot. So, in today's episode of Math Matters, we learned about interpreting data from line plots and stem and leaf plots. In a future video, we will focus on comparing line plots and stem and leaf plots. For Math Matters, I'm Ms. Granados. I hope you have a mathematical day and keep on counting.